Hello, I'll do a fruit update for the spring of 2015. It's May 23rd today, and most of the bloom is done, but still a couple apples blooming, and I'll show you each of the trees. This is my Pembina plum tree, and you can see it had a pretty good bloom. It's still a small tree. All my trees are small, but this one has got some fruit set. Didn't really get much last year on anything, but this tree has been fairly good for such a small tree. I'll take you through to the backyard, and we just had a little bit of a frost last night, but hopefully none of the blossoms were killed on the apple trees. This is my green gauge plum, European plum. No flowers this year, but lots of healthy growth, and it seems to be looking good. Next one is my Bartlett pear. No flowers this year again. It's I believe it's fourth season this year. It's doing okay. Next one I have here is the Harold Delight pear. It did flower for the first time this year. I'll take you in here. You can just see it looks like at least one, maybe two of the fruits have set there. So I might just leave one on to give it a try. But it's got a bit more growth, planted at the same time as the Bartlett pear, but a little bit more growth, and first pear for me to flower. It's my Wealthy apple tree. It's also 4 years old, so fairly slow growing. It was a small tree to start with, but it's been relatively slow growing, and no blossoms this year. It's my Chojuro Asian pear. I just bought it last year as a potted plant, and it did have some fruit, and again this year it did flower for quite a long time. Surprised how long the flowers last. They've just really started to fall off now. It's probably a 2-week bloom, and it does look like there's some fruit set going in on there, so excited to see that. And hopefully nothing was damaged again by the frost last night. It got down to about minus 1 degree Celsius, I believe. This is my tiny little apple tree, a 3rd year, and it's still only this big, but it seems healthy. That's the Honeycrisp apple. It's a bit of a drier spot. There's a little bit of a sloping hill there, but it's just been slow to grow. I'll take you through to the back, to the bigger trees here. This is the tree I believe was a Mutsu apple. I cut off 4 big branches last year and tried some grafts on it, and left a couple of the Mutsu branches there. They never seemed to ripen in time. It could have been a pollination issue, but I never had much fruit. Seems to be tons of flowers this year, and they're still just starting to drop their petals now. But the Mutsu is doing well, and for my grafts here, the first one was Strawberry Pippin. Everything grew about 3, maybe 4 feet last year, 3 feet anyway, and it looks healthy. The next one here was Macoun, and it actually flowered this year. So first year after grafting, and a couple flowers. It was the only one of the grafts, but everything took. They were cleft grafts. I don't know if you can see in there how it took there, but fairly well. And yeah, it was one of my first times trying grafting, and surprised how easy it can be. Maybe I just got lucky. Next one is Pitmaster and pineapple. I had a question how it would survive the winter, and we had one of the coldest Februaries on record here in 70 years, I believe. Lots of minus 20 Celsius, minus 25 Celsius, and seems to be no problem at all for the Pitmaster and pineapple surviving that winter. And the last one, one of the grafts took. The other one came out of the cleft there. But that's the Ashmead's kernel. No flowers on that this year. Looks fine though. Next one, this is my best tree to date so far. It's the Golden Delicious apple. No fruit last year. Poor blossom, and then whatever did blossom either wasn't pollinated or just dropped all its fruit, but it didn't have any fruit last year by But the time October rolled around, but it seems to be lots and lots of flowers this year. Bee activity has been okay. It's been a little bit cool lately, but it should be a good day today. And we're almost past prime bloom now, but looks like it could be a good fruit set year as long as there was no damage last night. All this brown you can see there is more just from the bloom being finished. Now, this tree is also 4 years old, but quite a bit more growth than the others. That's a Akane apple. I had one flower last year. It's a little bit earlier than the other trees. It's finished flowering, but it was quite covered in flowers, and it looks like there is going to be some fruit set this year. Again, hopefully nothing was damaged last night, but I'm excited to try one of those apples this year if I get one. Those are all semi-dwarf apples. This is my only dwarf apple. It's a Liberty. I've been very happy with it. It's only 3 years old, but it's taller than most of the other apple trees I've planted. I guess that's something that the dwarf apple rootstock does is speeds everything up a little bit, I've heard. But it had great blossoms this year, and it's probably got some fruit set. I'm sure it does. I'm not sure if that's focusing. But anyway, it does look like there's quite a bit of fruit set, so I'll be happy to leave a couple apples on there and try some this year. This is my Burbank Asian plum. Just planted it last year again as a potted tree. It's looking a little bit bare, so I'm not sure if it suffered maybe some winter damage. No blossoms at all this year, but it's just its first complete year in the ground. But it just looks a little bare. Hopefully it didn't suffer anything. I did have a Burbank in there earlier. I planted 5 years ago and it died. So I'm trying another one here, and hopefully it does better than that. This is my Shiro plum. Hopefully the sun's not in the way there, but it was planted at the same time as the original Burbank, and it has done great. Just a much healthier tree, lots of growth. Still haven't got to try a plum yet. There was a couple blossoms last year, but nothing ever matured into fruit. Maybe due to the cold winter, we didn't get much bloom this year either. Just maybe 30 to 40 flowers on there. I should try to see if, yeah, it looks like some of them have set there. I don't know if this camera will focus, but there is a little fruit set there. So maybe if I can protect those from the birds, I might get to try one this year. Nice looking tree in a way, and its upper branches are really starting to get quite horizontal now, so I think it's going to be a good looking tree. This is my Toka plum tree. It's a North American hybrid plum. It's done great ever since I put it in the ground. It's flowered profusely every year. This year was just full of flowers. They've all but done now, but it was just a mass of flowers, and the bees were all over it. It looked great, and I'm sure there'll be some fruit set on there as well. Good tasting plum too. I've been very happy with that one in this climate zone. This is my Mount Royal European plum. It's touted to be quite hardy, and obviously no problems at all last year with that winter. No flowers this year, but lots of vigorous growth, so looking forward to that one. My Stella cherry tree. It's 3 years old also. And the cherry trees grow quite fast. Had a couple flowers last year and even a fruit, but nothing this year. I believe probably some of the fruiting buds died off in that extreme cold we had. Same with my Van cherry tree. It's 5 or 6 years old now. It's a really tall tree. 3 years ago I had some good fruit. Last year maybe 20 flowers, and the birds ate the fruit before I got any. This year, again, probably because of the cold, not very much bloom this year. Maybe again 20 or 30 flowers. So it's not worth netting the whole tree for just a couple fruits like that. There is some fruit set, if you can see up there, but it's certainly not going to be a bumper year like I had 2 years ago. It's one of the brand new trees I put in this year. I put in 2 trees. I forgot to show you the other one. It was an apricot, a Harlane apricot. This one is a black ice plum, and I believe it's a North American hybrid plum, so it should be quite hardy. Got some growth in here. Maybe some of the upper stems died during shipping or whatnot, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. And the last 2 trees I have here are the 2 peach trees at the back of the house. First one's Harold Diamond. Survived the winter. There's quite a few branches there that didn't leaf out this year, so I'm assuming the leaf buds died, and certainly all the flower buds didn't survive that winter. I think the low last winter is about minus 28 or 29, and it seems to have killed all the flower buds. But I'm sure when this thing fully leaves out, it'll look better than it does now. It's a great looking tree, and it was last summer. This is the Reliance peach. It's a couple years younger than the other one. Survived the winter also, but some damage to the leaf buds, and this whole branch looks kind of dead. Some damage to the leaf buds, and obviously no flower buds at all this year. So that's the tour for the fruit trees. I'll do another one in the summertime once I have some more fruit set, and I think I'll post another video with the small fruit and berries, and I can show you that stuff. Okay, thanks.